Hey Pretty Girl Club, welcome back to the Beluga series. I am bulk recording today. I do this maybe one Saturday per month or like one Saturday every 2 months. So if there's anything specific you want me to talk about, be sure to comment down below. Also, I have some more videos coming out on the members section of this YouTube channel. So if you love my Beluga series and you want more of it, be sure to join the members page. But today I'm going to talk about how you are fat because you are addicted to carbs. So, one of the biggest lies that I hear carb addicts telling themselves is, well, at least I don't have a sweet tooth. It's not as bad as sugar. And it's like, sis, carbs turn into sugar in your body. Not to mention the fact that carbs actually contribute to weight gain because when you're overeating on carbs, it causes rapid spikes in your blood sugar. So, your blood sugar is spiking into oblivion, then it's dipping into hell, and then you're immediately feeling hungry. So this is why people are carb addicts. They can't stop eating the tortillas. They can't stop eating the pasta. They have to eat a big giant thing of pasta. They have to keep going back for seconds and thirds and fourths. Well, yeah, it's because they're having spikes and crashes and they're addicted to feeling full. A lot of people who are carb addicts, I've noticed they're really just addicted to feeling full. They like that feeling in their stomach when they're full. And it's like, if you want to fill your stomach with something, you could have literally just filled it with water. Like, that's one of my habits. Before I eat a meal, I try to drink maybe like 8 ounces of water. I always am drinking water. But back when I was struggling a little bit with my diet, I would drink water before and after the meal. So there you go. You're full right there. You didn't have to stuff yourself with pasta. And another thing about pasta, a lot of these restaurants and stuff, they're ripping you off. They're lying to you. They're trying to pretend like their pasta is like this world famous, super high quality pasta. No, sis, it's just the sauce. All you have to do is learn how to make that exact sauce at home and put that same sauce on top of some vegetables. And then there you go. You're not overeating on carbs. A lot of people, they only eat the pasta because they like the sauce part. They like the sauce and they like the texture of the pasta. They like kind of that soft, mushy texture. Okay, so find a healthier alternative. That's what I did. I literally, instead of being obsessed with pesto pasta, because that was my favorite. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with pesto. If you are obsessed with pesto, we can be friends because especially the one from Trader Joe's, the green one, like I'm talking about the green pesto. It's basically just pure garlic. I'm obsessed with that. But instead of me being addicted to pasta, and blowing up and having my thighs bursting out of my jeans, instead of doing that, I decided to simply put that same sauce on a healthier alternative. And I know they have protein pasta, so I've never tried protein pasta, but I feel like even that would probably be a better alternative. But you do want to eventually get off of pastas because it's still processed. It's still processed. It's not the same as eating fruits and vegetables. It's not. You're not going to be able to get out of eating fruits and vegetables. A lot of people with this big back mindset, they're literally bypassing everything. They're coming up with all these lies, all these excuses to avoid eating fruits and vegetables. Why are you scared of fruits and vegetables? Why are you scared of a salad? And I hear some people saying like, oh, that food looks nasty. Like vegetables look nasty. I like how pasta looks when they put it on the plate and they do the garnish. Okay, but when you eat that pasta, it's going to turn into boo-boo either way. So who cares if it looks pretty or if it doesn't look pretty? It's not going to look pretty when it's in the toilet. So you're literally becoming a beluga because the pasta on the plate looks pretty. And I feel pretty when I'm eating it. If the only time that you feel beautiful is when you're eating a beautiful meal, you've got much bigger problems than weight loss. Like, how low does my self-esteem have to be to where the only time I feel cute and dainty and feminine and pretty is if I have a big-ass pretty plate of carbs in front of me? You do know that those restaurants, they're trying to make the plate look pretty because that's how you spend money. They want you to take a picture of their food and post it to social media because that's how they do their advertisements. They're always going to show food that looks as appetizing as possible. They're going to show food that looks pretty. It's going to have little pretty flowers and garnishes on top of it. So that's just an advertising thing. And they want big backs like you to fall for the advertising and to go and buy their pasta. They want you to spend $70 on pasta. They want you to use taglines like, oh, pasta and lobster. You're playing right into their hands. Not to mention the fact that being fat is actually very expensive. The people who are pasta snobs, that's actually a very expensive hobby. It's like, okay, so you're telling me you got all this money to try every single restaurant, you've tried every single pasta in town, but you don't have enough money for a gym membership? You don't have enough money to go to the doctor and get your PCOS fixed? You don't have enough money to go see somebody about your thyroid problems? And by the way, if you eat like a big back when it comes to carbs, if you eat like that before you go to sleep, that actually disrupts your sleep patterns. So imagine having a messed up diet and then it messes up your sleep pattern. And then when you don't get enough sleep, it increases ghrelin. I think that's the name of the hunger hormone. So basically, it makes you even hungrier the next day. So you're literally eating a plate full of sabotage. You're eating a plate full of weight gain. You're eating a plate full of disrupted sleep. I hear so many people saying, oh, I want to get my beauty sleep. I want to get my beauty rest. Okay, not with all those carbs in your stomach. Beauty rest where? At what time? After what meal? Because eating too many carbs fucks up your sleep. It also causes mood swings, because if your blood sugar is constantly fluctuating, I'm telling you guys, I'm like low-key obsessed with blood sugar now. That was really like a key for me, was learning about that. But if your blood sugar is constantly going up and down due to this high carb intake, that's what actually causes irritability. So I remember I told you guys about how when I ate a Cinnabon, you know, the giant Cinnabons, that's basically carbs and sugar. When I ate that, I immediately became angry. I immediately got in a bad mood. And it was because of the crazy blood sugar spikes and dips. So if you already struggle with your mood being bad, you've already got to deal with these dusties out here in these streets. You already have to deal with all these basic betties. You have to deal with traffic. You have to deal with bill collectors. And now you're telling me that on top of that, you also would like to pile on some mood swings that come from eating hella carbs. Are you privilege stacking or are you trauma stacking? Like, which one is it? Oh, and another thing too, a lot of people that have high carb diets, especially if you're having a lot of sugar too, okay, that fucks up your skin, just so you know. So now, on top of being fat, now I have to call the 1-800 number so I could go and get some Proactive. Now I have to pay for the dermatologist to try to fix my skin issues, on top of being fat, on top of having these mood swings, on top of being irritable. I have to go through all this shit just so I could eat some bow tie pasta with lemon pesto? And then I see some people saying, oh, well, carbs are not the enemy. You don't want to demonize carbs. No, sis, for you, carbs are the enemy. They are the enemy because you're addicted to them. You're eating them 24/7. You're prioritizing carbs and sugar. You're prioritizing white foods like flour. By the way, fun fact, generally speaking, I try not to eat white foods just because my body doesn't react super well. My blood sugar, like the symptoms that I get after eating foods that are white, it's just not that great. I don't feel good after I eat these artificial white foods. And for the people who are saying, oh, but those foods taste good, okay, change your taste buds. It only takes 2 weeks to change your taste. So you're telling me you've been on this earth for 50 years. It only takes 2 weeks to change your taste buds, and you want to give me the excuse that you can't eat something because of the taste. So you went 50 years eating like a beluga, and now suddenly you don't want to spend 2 weeks retraining your taste buds to like something else? You'd rather deal with all these issues, all these blood sugar problems, all these beluga problems, all these acne problems, all because you don't want to take 2 weeks out of your life so you could change your taste buds. And another thing I hear some people saying is, oh, well, being skinny is just not for me. I've never been skinny even when I was a little kid. Okay, so you're telling me that your past defines your future? So you're telling me that because you've never done something, it means now you can never do it the rest of your life? That's called a limiting belief. So you're allowing your limiting belief to create the excuse that, oh, I can just eat all these carbs because, I'm going to be fat anyway. So you're basically just giving up. And then you have the audacity to accuse skinny people of having an ED. Meanwhile, you've got limiting beliefs attached to food. You've got limiting beliefs attached to your body. You don't even want to train your taste buds for 2 weeks, even though you've been working that shitty job for 10 years. You walk into a job that you hate every single day. yet you're not willing to change your taste buds so you could potentially live longer and have a better quality of life. And I've noticed that a lot of people, they think that when I talk about food that I'm only talking about being skinny. No, food is actually a form of medicine. It's supposed to be something that helps to heal your body. So you don't know that though because you've been a beluga. So for you, maybe it's just about being skinny, and that's fine. But I can tell you as a skinny person that once you get to the level of having been a healthy weight for a while, you start to do home remedies and do all these different quirks and habits in your diet to use food as a medicine. A lot of people are like, oh, natural remedies don't work. Yeah, they don't work for you, Cheryl, because your body is filled with toxins. Your gut microbiome is imbalanced. And then you want to blame it on the natural home remedies. Like, oh, all those foods are just nasty. Well, none of those home remedies work. Well, I didn't feel better after I ate healthy for a week. Well, yeah, that's because your body has to purge all that crap you've been putting in it for the past 25 years. And I hear some people and they're like, oh, well, I'm addicted to carbs or I just crave carbs. Okay, well, cravings are temporary. Remember, thoughts are not hunger. Just because you're thinking about pasta, just because you're thinking about cake or bread, it doesn't mean that you have to act on that. And when it comes to addictions, for some people, addictions are caused by their environment. So were you raised around carb addicts? Are your mom and dad carb addicts? Did they raise you on pasta and bread your entire life? Does everybody in your house eat carbs all the time and, they're addicted to carbs? Because that's a part of what causes an addiction. And it's not their fault, like you can't blame them, but you are responsible for how you behave. Now, how are you going to be addicted to something and then get mad and be like, oh, but I want to lose weight. I don't want to be addicted to it. So now I'm just going to be angry. It's like, no, if somebody's addicted to something, usually they realize that that's a bad thing. And then they kind of go through a rehab process. So changing your taste buds, that's going to be a part of the rehab process. Crowding out your plate. So instead of filling your plate with a whole bunch of pasta and a whole bunch of bread, you can cut it in half. Only put half of your plate with like pasta and bread. So that'll help you to kind of wean yourself off of it. And I know for me, like whenever I go to a restaurant with my friends, if they have bread, I don't eat the bread. I don't eat the bread because I don't need it. Because first of all, it tastes bland. But I know some people are going to be like, oh, but I love the taste of bread. Do you really love the taste of bread or do you like the texture of bread? What is it about bread that you like? Is it the taste? Is it the saltiness? Is it the texture of it? Is it the sponginess of it? Because you can find a healthier alternative and, make something that tastes spongy and soft, but then it doesn't have as many carbs. Like that's what I did. When I first started, I was analyzing exactly what made me addicted to those things. So for example, with chocolate, that's my weakness. Chocolate frosting, any kind of frosting actually. Frosting, the reason that I liked it is because I like the texture of it. I like that it's soft and it melts in your mouth. And I like that it's sweet. I don't know, I just like how it feels like when I swallow it. Like it's very easy for me to kind of digest. It doesn't feel good after I eat it, but I like how it tastes when it's in my mouth. Okay, so instead of having frosting, I decided to replace that with guacamole, avocado. So avocado has a very similar texture, and I actually feel good after I eat it. So you can actually start analyzing what exact taste, what exact texture am I craving when I want to eat this carb? Is it just the sauce? Like with pasta, I realized it was just the sauce that I really liked. I just wanted to drench the pasta in all the sauce and then taste that warm pesto sauce. Okay, so that's why I made it with vegetables next time. I made it with a stir fry. And I also think our society tries to make it cute to overeat on carbs because I talked about how restaurants, they always serve you like really big plates and stuff. And also, if you look at romantic comedy movies and stuff, it always shows the girl who got broken up with and she's sitting on the couch, she's eating ice cream and pizza, so she's eating carbs and sugar. So the media actually brainwashes you to look to food as a source of comfort. But guess what? I'm not a slave to the media, so I don't have to follow the shit that they put on the movies. Just because there's a girl on a movie eating carbs when she got dumped, that doesn't mean that I have to do that. That's called emotional eating. And also look at all the cute names that they try to give to refined sugars and carbs. Comfort food. Like, oh, it's comforting. No, it's actually not comforting. It's extremely unhealthy. You're just trying to give it a cute name so you can sell your products. You want to sell the mac and cheese. You want to sell your Wonder Bread. You want to sell the pasta. You're trying to sell pies. You're trying to sell whatever food products you want to advertise. So, no, it's actually not comfort food. So, a part of getting skinny is stopping this mindset of being a follower, just following everybody. And a lot of people, they fall for the trap, especially around the holidays, because half of the food during the holidays is just pure carbs. It's carbs. It's carb loading. You're carb loading on the holidays. And it's like, okay, are you running a marathon? Like, why are you carb loading? You're only doing that because society has told you that when it's Thanksgiving or when it's Christmas or when it's the holidays, that's when you eat a whole bunch of carbs. And then you take your Thanksgiving nap afterwards and it's all good. No, it's not all good to fill my body with poison or to dysregulate my blood sugar. No, that's not good. That's not happy. There's nothing to celebrate about that. But a lot of insurance companies and stuff, they want you to be sick. So remember that. The insurance companies, they want you to be sick. The medical facilities, they want you to be sick. They need to have customers. So they want you to overeat on carbs so that you can spend money trying to fix your blood sugar later. They want you to try to fix your obesity later. And it's like you could have solved all these problems by simply practicing portion control. And for those of you who practice cycle syncing or you really feel like you have a lot of cravings, so I tend to have cravings during this phase of my period, like I'm in my luteal phase right now. So I plan ahead for when I'm going to have cravings. A lot of people who are big, they're unprepared. That's why they're big. They didn't plan out their calories. They didn't plan out their meals. They didn't plan out their nutrients. So as soon as that craving comes along, as soon as those symptoms start from them having a blood sugar crash, they go straight to the pasta. They go straight to the carbs. Well, that's because they didn't have a plan. So when I'm out grocery shopping, I actually go grocery shopping during my luteal phase. I make sure to go to the store and get some healthy fats because that's what I crave during that phase. I crave like fatty stuff that has fat in it. So I will get the guacamole. Otherwise, I'm going to end up eating something that has frosting on it. So you have to find a healthier alternative, and then you're not constantly turning to carbs. I feel like a lot of people like carbs too because they're very cheap and easy and accessible. They are. It's very cheap and easy just to get like some basic, French fries or something that's made with flour. Even flour itself is pretty cheap. You can make a whole bunch of stuff out of flour. So it's almost like this poverty mindset that leads people to overeat on carbs sometimes because it's like, oh, I don't want to pay for the steak. I don't want to pay for the meat. I don't want to pay for this grass-fed beef. I don't want to pay for the keto cookies and all this fancy stuff. No, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to spend the time chopping up vegetables and cooking this fancy meal. So you know what? I'm just going to throw together a pasta. I'm just going to boil it really quick, a big giant pot of pasta. Then I'm just going to dump some ragu sauce on it, and that'll be my dinner. Okay, so that's actually called laziness. That's called neglect. You're literally neglecting your own health needs because you don't want to plan out a meal. And that's another thing too. A lot of people with this beluga mindset, they're relying on recipes. That's part of why you're fat. It's because you rely on recipes to make you skinny. You don't need a new recipe. You just need to eat an apple. You need to eat grapes. That's it. It's very simple. You don't have to have a fancy recipe. I don't know any recipes, honestly. I can't tell you not one fancy skinny recipe that I've had since being thin. I've been thin the majority of my life. So no, I don't have any fancy recipes. I just eat simple foods. I literally will eat an apple, a banana, some salad. That's very simple. Just basic arugula with tomato. That's my salad. I don't need 25 different toppings. That's another thing. Whenever it's healthy, okay, why is it that when it comes to carbs, you will eat the lowest quality food from McDonald's, but suddenly when it's healthy food, you're like, oh no, that salad looks nasty. That looks too plain. I need some more toppings. I need some more dressing. I need to add some cheese. I need to add some raisins. It's like, since when are you the freaking top chef all of a sudden? So when it comes to healthy food, suddenly your standards are so high and you need 25 different things on your salad. You suddenly want to act like you have such high standards for the quality of your food when you literally spent the last several decades eating low quality carbs. And it's like, when it comes to a salad, you don't have to put 50 things on a salad. Like my salads are usually arugula and tomato. Like if that's what I have in my fridge, that's my salad. Arugula and tomato. And sometimes some shredded carrots, or if I have some beets or something in there, maybe I'll throw that in there. but you don't need 25 different toppings. Like, oh, I don't have the nuts. I don't have the fancy pecans. I don't have all the croutons I need. So, no, I'm just not going to eat that. I'll just go back to carbs. No, that's actually an excuse. And for some people, they're addicted to carbs because you get a dopamine release because it becomes sugar in your body. And it's like, okay, you have to find other ways to feel good. There are so many other ways to feel good other than binging on carbs. If that's the only way that you can get dopamine, if that's the only way that you feel good is by eating, you have much bigger problems than weight loss. That means you're literally depressed then. So stop spending your money on the carbs, save your money and go to a therapist then. Spend some money on some yoga retreats. I don't care what you have to do. Get some crystals, bitch. Oh my God, I sound so evil. But no, it's like you need to figure something out, like do a yoga retreat, join the church. I mean, you need to do something, meditate, figure something out, figure out another way to feel good. Go on a walk, look at yourself in the mirror and smile, do some affirmations. There are thousands of other ways to receive dopamine other than binging on carbs. A lot of people use food as a way to process their emotions, and they just use it as like a coping mechanism. Food is not the answer to your problems. Okay? So eating random carbs, that's not going to suddenly make you happy. That feeling that you get of comfort, it's only going to be temporary because you're going to have the sugar crash right afterwards. And for those people who say, oh, there's no such thing as good and bad food, there's no such thing as good and bad carbs. Yes, there is. Soda, white pasta, white rice, sugary cereal. You mean to tell me that that's good? One thing I've noticed about other skinny people is that we don't lie to ourselves. We don't lie to ourselves about food or about our weight gain. Like, we're very honest with ourselves. And that's why we are able to control our portions. That's why we're able to not binge, because we know the consequences of our actions. And I feel like some people are like, oh, well, when I have a craving, I just can't control myself. Yes, you can control yourself. You control your arms, your legs, your mouth. Nobody's forcing you to walk into the pantry and get some carbs out of there. Nobody's forcing you to do that. So saying I can't control myself, that's actually an external locus of control, because you're implying that somebody else is overtaking you, like the devil, or somebody's just overtaking you. They made me do it. The devil made me do it. The devil made me eat those carbs. But sometimes what I will do, though, to trick myself into not overeating is I will tell myself, hey, you can have it. Go ahead. Go in the kitchen right now and binge. You can do that if you want. Like, I will tell myself that. And because my brain naturally is kind of rebellious, for some reason, telling myself that I can binge if I want, that makes me like not want to do it. So if you're the type of person where if you get told that you can't eat carbs, that makes you want them more, okay, so then start telling yourself you can eat carbs. You can eat as many carbs as you want. Because part of what has made me binge in the past is scarcity mindset. So like if I'm out at a birthday party and they have cake, I've had a tendency to eat a whole bunch of cake because it's scarce. I don't keep sugar in my house. So, that's going to make me like, when I go out, I'm going to want to eat all the sugar. But once I actually started purchasing sugar from the grocery store, it's funny, I actually ate less because I knew that there was an abundance of sweets in my cabinet. I know that doesn't work for everybody, but for me, it seems to work. Knowing that there are lots of sweets in my cabinet, like I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want, it helps me to not have that scarcity feeling. And at some point, I feel like you have to decide what's more important to you. Is it more important to eat pasta, or is it more important to be skinny? Is it more important to binge and feel good for a couple minutes, or is it important for you to actually look good? For me personally, I feel like not eating a whole bunch of food, not overeating, helps me because it's like I don't want to feel unattractive and unhealthy. Like, feeling unattractive and unhealthy, that's a way worse feeling than not eating carbs late at night. And it's like sometimes you're just going to be hungry. Just get over it. Get over it. Sometimes you're going to feel a little tiny bit of hunger. It's not an emergency. No, you're not going to pass out. But if you feel hungry, that's actually a sign that you're in a calorie deficit because you're not eating enough to sustain the weight that you once were. So if you're trying to lose weight, it's normal for you to feel a little bit hungry sometimes. Stop being scared of hunger. And if you're eating a lot because you go out a lot with friends, stop going out so much or limit how much you go out with your friends. Or you can stop revolving your social life around food. If your friends want to go out to brunch every Thursday, you don't have to go every Thursday. Go every other Thursday. Go once a month. Or pick something on the menu that is healthy, even though I still believe that restaurant food is never going to be as healthy as fresh produce that you buy yourself. I stand 10 toes down on that. But just try to pick something that's a little bit more healthy, or if you struggle with overeating, just don't go. Just say no. Learn how to say no. Learn how to set boundaries. Some people are fat because they don't know how to set boundaries. They go to grandma's house and they just have to eat whatever grandma made. There's a cookout, it's 4th of July, so they just have to eat everything in sight. And don't get me wrong, I overeat sometimes, but the difference is that when I overeat, I go back to my normal habits the next day. And not to mention the fact that when I overeat, I literally feel bad. My stomach literally hurts. And so I really can't eat as much the next day because it's going to make my stomach hurt more. But what do you ladies think? Are you a carb addict? Are you a beluga? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.